Hey everybody, Brent here with Nutrition First Coaching. In today's video, I'm going to give you a way to simply calculate your macros. Now we'll use a little technology to find your body fat percentage as well as your total daily expenditure of your calories. And then I'm going to show you how to calculate your macros based on your goals and give you a real life example. Now, if you want to walk through all this on a webinar for free and get pro tips as well as everything you need to calculate your macros and make adjustments, join us this Thursday, April 29th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Just go to our website to get signed up for this free webinar. Now let's get into the video. A simple macro calculation. Well, that's a little bit of a misnomer because it's not simple, but we are going to use technology to try to make it as simple as possible to give you at least a really rough estimate of what your macros can be so you can make adjustments along the way. So when I say simple macro calculation, we're going to go to Calculatornet. You can type in a few variables, age, weight, height, and a couple measurements. You're going to use a measuring tape, so something like this, circumferential at the neck and the waist. And then you can put those numbers in and it'll give you a rough estimate of your body fat percentage. Now once you have that, then you can go to another part of Calculatornet, and this is your total daily energy expenditure. So really what this is an activity multiplier. This is where a lot of people make a lot of mistakes. So we're going to again put age, weight, height, the activity level, so our activity multiplier, and our body fat percentage. Estimate on the low end here. Everybody thinks they're super active. Even if you work out 4 or 5 days a week or 6 days a week, but then the majority of your job is sitting around, and if you didn't work out, you maybe take 3,000 steps a day, you're not active. You're probably on the low end to sedentary kind of end of the activity level. So think about that when you're setting these. Now it's going to spit out some numbers for you. So I always like to call it protein anchored macro calculation. So protein's always first. And you can go back and watch that video on what I kind of explain protein anchored macros and why we use protein and why it's so important compared to the other two macros to start with. First, we're going to set our protein, and that's going to be roughly 1 gram per pound of body weight, just to go right in the middle to make it easy. Then we're going to go to fat, so 0.3 to 0.45, maybe even 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. So we're going to take our body weight and we're going to multiply it by something in that window. And this is kind of that middle of the road, 40, 30, 30 kind of program here. And then the rest is going to be carbohydrates. So depending on your goal, if you're a high energy person, your goal is either maintenance or surplus, and you're training a lot and you're really active, you're going to set this, you're going to have a lot of carbs left. So you're going to set quite a bit of carbs, 200, 300, 400 grams of carbs probably in there. But once we get that protein anchored, then we can kind of decide on the fat to keep the hormones stable. Then we can decide on the activity level through the carbs. So let's do a little example here. I'll try to get out of the way. Somebody's got a 2,000 calorie diet. This is what they're trying to hit for their daily amount of calories, so their total daily energy expenditure. They weigh 175 pounds, so we're going to go 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's going to be 175 grams of protein, which equals 700 calories. Now we're going to take fat out of the equation, so we're going to multiply it by 0.4. So that's going to give us 70 grams of fat. 70 grams of fat is 630 calories. So if we add both of those together, now we're going to be left with 670 calories out of our 2,000 calories. I hope that's making sense so far. So this is what's left. The rest of it is carbs, 670 calories. Because we know carbs is 4 grams of energy or calories, 4 calories per gram, then we're going to divide that by 4. So now 670 divided by 4, so that's going to give us 167 grams of carbs. So this is what our macros would look like: 175 grams of protein, 70 grams of fat, and 167 grams of carbs. Now this is leaning into that protein anchor, but if we were a very active person, I'm 173-ish pounds or so. My maintenance is like 3,100 calories a day. So I'm going to set both of these, maybe even a little higher on the fat, maybe at 80, 85 grams. but then I'm gonna fill in the rest with carbs. So I'm at like 250 to maybe even 300 grams of carbs depending on the day and the activity level. So this just shows you kind of a general idea of how to set your macros. And again, we're gonna go through all this stuff in the webinar on Thursday. I'm gonna give you the exact ways to go through this. We're gonna do it on the webinar. We're gonna talk about pro tips for everything from how to get enough protein to carbs, to what to do with your fats, to eating out at restaurants, to how to calculate alcohol into your macros. So join us for that webinar. Just go to nutritionfirstcoaching.com/events to get signed up, or pretty much any of our social media, and you'll find a place to get signed up for it. I hope we see you there. I hope this makes a little bit of sense. Like and subscribe to us. Have a great day.